In this video, I will show you how to get ahead of 99% of your competition as a sports coach. Meaning, if you stick around till the end of this video, I will show you how to get more clients who pay you more than any other sports coach in your area. Now, in case we haven't quite met yet, my name is Mohammed. I took my private soccer training business from 0 to 50 active clients, crossing over $15,000 a month in personal income. And during that time, I've been able to create a brand that got over 200,000 followers, just so you can see what I'm about to tell you actually works. Now, getting straight into it, what is the number one money model for sports coaches? Well, before we get into the new way of doing things, I'm going to go over exactly what the average personal trainer or private trainer does to get clients, and then how they actually convert those clients into longer term paying clients. So number one, they either rely on the old way of doing things with digital referrals, word of mouth, flyers, and business cards. And by all means, these ways do work, and I've used them myself to get my first couple clients, but long term, it's just a slow way of getting clients, right? Because you're either begging for referrals, you're reaching out desperately to hundreds of people trying to shove your coaching down their throat, and then you have flyers and business cards where it kind of shows like you're trying to get more clients, which is like the desperate way of doing things once again. Now, it works, don't get me wrong, it does work, but it's just a slower halt. So what actually happens after the marketing? Let's say you get a couple clients, they come to the first session, you charge them anywhere from $75 to $100 per session, and then from there, you hope that they buy a package or come back for more lessons in the future. That's like the typical way of doing things. And believe me, I've done that way too in the beginning, and I quickly realized like, if you just wait and hope for somebody to come to a first session and then hope them to come long term, like every single week, then it truly doesn't work. Because people try something out, and then if they don't commit on that first day, then guess what? Chance of them coming back, it just decreases week by week. Unless you're a really good coach, but that still depends on your ability to market and sell your product and service. So here's the new way, right? Here's why this way doesn't work, and here's how the new way works to get you to A, charge more than any other coach in your area, and B, get them to really stick around for as long as possible. So the new way of getting clients is number one, setting up an Instagram page. By having an Instagram page, you show people that you know what you're doing, you know how to work with you know how to get to your location, and you know that you're a real coach, right? Think of it this way, right? If you go to a restaurant, what do you typically look at? You look at the reviews, look at Google Maps to see if there's any pictures of the place, because you want to see what the experience would be like before actually going to the restaurant, right? And it totally makes sense, because you want to make sure that you minimize risk and that you're not wasting your time on something that won't be worth the price. So for you, think of your Instagram page as a virtual business card. Now with this virtual business card, the really cool thing about it is that you get to carry it around everywhere you go. Meaning, if you go to a different court, if you go to a different soccer field, if you go to a different basketball court, then guess what? You have your virtual business card to give out to people who are potentially interested in lessons, right? Now, second thing combined with Instagram is like, once you have your Instagram set up, you have like 9 to 12 posts of like things you've been able to do, kind of like your social proof, your client results, so on and so forth. Then guess what? What we need to do is basically boost something on top of that. So that's when like the local ads come into play. Now, really put simply, local ads, let me just draw this out for you guys. Local ads are basically ads that are shown locally. Very simply put, right? These are ads shown in that 3 to 10 mile radius of wherever you're based. So for example, let's say you're in Brooklyn, let's say you're in Maine, let's say you're in Irvine, California. You can make an ad that shows the qualified people who are in your area looking for lessons in the first place. Let's say you're running an ad for tennis players, right? Or tennis adults. Your ad can be something very simple. Like, I'm looking for 5 tennis players over the age of 30 who are tired of losing matches and want to get back to competitive best in the next 90 days. If that's you, message me the word Irvine and I'll see if I can help. Now, by doing that and now by creating that ad, you get people to come to you instead of you desperately begging for those people to come to. Now, I'll show you some examples in the later videos, but just to show you how it works, you spend anywhere from like $10 to $15 per day, like less than the cost of a Chipotle bowl on those ads per day to get 4 to 5 new people to reach out to you. So if you're spending $10 a day on ads, you're going to expect to get 4 to 5 people to say, hey, I'm interested in lessons. How does it work? Right? And then they're going to go ahead and message you on your Instagram page. From there, you're going to talk to them over a conversation. You're going to jump on a phone call. And then on the phone call, here's where most people mess up. Instead of saying, hey, we require a deposit, most coaches, this might be you, and this was me in the past as well, they just say, hey, okay, cool, I'll see you on the court, or I'll see you on the soccer field in the next couple of days, or whenever the session is scheduled for. Now, yes, it works sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't, because sometimes people can just cancel last second, or they're just no-show you completely, which sucks because you wasted all the time getting to the field or to the court, and only to realize that the person is not going to be actually coming to the session, right? So you're wasting your time. I'm sure you have some experiences when that kind of happened to you. I know I have multiple times, and after doing that a couple times, I'm like, okay, there has to be a way to go ahead and get people to commit and actually show up so that I don't have to waste my time going to the soccer field and waste my time, on the train back and so on and so forth. So on the session, on the first call itself, what we have to do instead is basically you want to say, hey, my normal first sessions are $130. However, if you decide to book your session now, we'll get you down to 100 for that first session, just to see if you like it. And then from there, we can talk about long-term packages. So I'm already setting up the punchline for the long-term packages, but also I'm giving them an incentive to book a session now because I'm going to drop $30. And then on the phone call itself, once they agree to the $100 session, I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, cool. Would you be able to go ahead and Zelle, Venmo, PayPal 25% of the actual first session, just so I know you're going to show up. Now, the reason I do this is because in the past, I've had some clients who just say they're down to come to a session, and then as a result, a couple days goes by and they never actually end up showing up. And what happened to me was, several times I had clients who booked that session and then never actually come to the field and never actually said they were going to. So I went to the field, rented at the spot, and I actually ended up wasting my time. So once you give an explanation as to why we do the deposit, or you can just say, hey, it's just been always how we've been doing things. So like, are you able to go ahead and put a $25 deposit? And if they say no to a $25 deposit, that means for a fact they're going to be wasting your time anyway. They're not good clients to work with. So you'll know from the get-go whether or not this is a good client or a client's going to waste your time anyway. So once you get the deposit over the phone, what does that do? That increases your show-up rates, meaning you're going to have more people show up to your first session. And even if they don't show up to the session because they have to cancel it, at least you have $25 as a commitment from them to go ahead and show up another day, right? Now, here's where most coaches, myself included, have done this wrong. On the first session, you want to forget about the session. You want to forget about the session as a way to improve them. The whole goal of the first session is to basically make a good first impression, get the parents to like you, or get the adult to actually commit to something long term. So if you're selling to adults, if you're a tennis coach who coaches adults, then you have to get them to really like you and really like what you have to say. So here's the framework that I use to go ahead and get people to really commit to the first session and really commit to the long-term sessions because they really like what I have to offer. So this is called the closer framework. This is by all means not something that I created. This is some from Alex Hermosa. You guys can check him out. But the closer framework is very simple. It's CLOSER. Clarify what they want, label them with the problem, overview their past experience, sell them on the transformation, explain away their concerns, and reinforce their decision. Now, just to zoom in on each one of these things really quickly, clarify what they want, meaning on the first session, in the first couple minutes, really ask them, hey, what's your goal? What made you want to come to the first session in the first place? What are you trying to achieve? What would success look like for you? Once you get the overarching goal, you want to ask them, you want to label them with a problem, meaning okay, seems like you want to get to this point. However, the only thing that's stopping you from getting there is problem 1, problem 2, problem 3. So in a soccer example, it would be okay, your goal is to become the best player on your team, and the only thing that's stopping you from getting there is A, your weak foot is terrible, B, you have no confidence on the ball, and then C, your stamina needs work. So once we have those 3 problems, we could clearly create a gap between where they are and where they want to be. So once you create the gap between where they are and where they want to be, you want to position yourself as the bridge between point A and point B. Now, how do you actually do this? Well, you overview the past experience first. So what does that actually mean though? It basically means you want to ask them okay, what have you actually done to solve this problem in the first place? What have you actually done to try to solve this problem before we met today? And by doing that, you get to really understand, okay, this person tried YouTube videos, this person tried this coach, this person tried this method, and those things haven't worked. You want to get them to agree that what they tried in the past, their way of doing things, was not the correct way of doing things. And then from there, you want to sell them on the transformation, meaning, okay, great, your goal is here. You want to get from point A to point B, and this is the biggest problem stopping you from getting there. And you've tried these other ways of doing things, but it hasn't worked for you because of XYZ reason. I always like to give a reason as to why it didn't work out for you, or because that coach was, wasn't doing the right thing with you, or the YouTube videos are just inconsistent, unreliable. And then you want to sell them on the transformation. You want to tell them, okay, we have something, which I'll show you in a second. We'll go over the different packages you can offer. Let's say we have a transformation, I will get you from point A to point B and help you solve this problem using XYZ method. You want to tell them how you're going to help them get there, right? But you want to sell the transformation, sell the flight to Maui, not the actual TSA check-ins and the way you're going to get there. Focus on the outcome. Most coaches, you, myself included, in the past at least, sold lessons. You want to sell the transformation because people are not buying your lessons. People don't care about the lessons. They care about what you can actually do for them, right? What they care about the actual outcome they're going to be able to achieve if they decide to work with you. Once you show them what you have to offer, explain away their concerns. They're going to say, I have no time, I have no money, I'm too busy, I got to ask my spouse, so on and so forth. You want to explain away those concerns, which I'll show you in a second as well. And then from there, once you explain away their concerns and they're ready to go, you want to reinforce their decision. Most coaches get a package up front, get a 12-week, a 6-week challenge or package up front, and then they don't deliver. And if you're a coach and you're terrible at coaching your clients, please don't use this, because this will be super unethical for you, right? Make sure you're actually a good coach and reinforce the decision. Like, really show up for your client, because I promise you, if you have a good product, meaning if you are a good coach, people will stick around with you. But you can have the best product in the world, but if your marketing is terrible, if nobody knows you exist, it simply doesn't matter, right? So you want to keep in mind those things are very, very important. Now, what did we just do? So this first part was simply the attraction offer, meaning how we got the person in the door. This is exactly what we did. We got them on the first session through the ad. Because they saw your Instagram page, because they saw your ad, they know you're legit, they're able to pay you $100 per session, and they went ahead and came to the first session. Now from here, what we're going to do, we're going to go into the main offer. Now the main offer is very simple. Now I'm going to walk you guys through how it works, and I'm going to walk you guys through all the ways that it cannot work as well. Because the main offer, once you get the first session done, you want to sell them on the 6-week transformation. Now with the 6-week transformation, there's 2 tiers. Tier A, where they come once a week, and then Tier B, where they come twice a week. Now with Tier A, it's very simple, right? You say, okay, cool. The average cost of our first sessions are $130, but we got to get you on that $100 for that first session. And then our continuation plans, if you decide to do it long term, it'll just be $100 for the next session. However, we have something called the 6-week transformation, where I will help you go from where you are to where you want to be, like I said earlier, and solve that specific problem. So every pitch for each person will be different based on the problem they have and based on the solution that they want to, use. So from there, you'll say, okay, for you, what we can do if you want, we can go ahead and do a 6-week transformation where we'll help you go from where you are to where you want to be. And instead of paying $100 per hour, you can go ahead and pay the $90 per hour, and it'll be 6 sessions. So the total for that would be $540. And if they say no to this, you can always offer the split pay, meaning like we can do half now and half in 30 days. That way you still get the commitment from the player that they're going to come to you long term. And then if they say, okay, cool, and if you feel like they need 2 sessions, or they're like, I want 2 sessions, offer the 2-pack. Basically, this is where Tier 2, where they come in twice a week, and instead of paying $100 per hour, they're going to pay $80 per hour. And then 12 sessions times the $80 per hour will be $960. And if they say no to that, once again, offer the split pay, because guess what? It doesn't matter whether they're getting half now and half later, because they're still committed to you and they're still able to put down $450 or whatever the math on that is going to be. So make sure you get that commitment from each person. So from there, once the 6 weeks are up, so before we go to the 6 weeks, what actually happened? The average coach charges for the first session and hopes something happens. Now, the new model of doing it is basically charging for the deposit, charging for the first session, and then charging for the 6-week transformation on the first day. Meaning your ads, if you're running $10 a day on ads, and every single day you get 1 or 2 people to like say, hey, I'm coming to the first session, or even if like in the course of the month you get 15 people to come to the first session, all 15 of those are going to go ahead and buy a 6-week transformation. Meaning on the first day, you're already making $540 to $960 on day 1. And that's where you can really scale this aggressively, because you know for a fact that you have long-term income coming through. Now, what actually happens from there? Now, most coaches from there, what you can do, I'll show you the way I would do it, because at the end of the day, you want to charge more, and this is the best money model for sports coaches. What you want to do is go straight into a 12-week transformation. Now, with a 12-week transformation, once again, there's 2 tiers. Tier 1, which is once a week, and Tier 2 is 2 times a week. Now, by this point, the person has spent 6 weeks with you, which means they either loved your coaching or they either hated your coaching. Chances are, if they're sticking around and they're coming to this next session, they love your coaching, they love who you are, and they're getting better. Which means now that the transformation is over, you want to sell them on the next problem. Okay, cool. So we got you from point A to point B. Now, what's your next goal? Like, where do you want to go next? Now, yes, we improved your weak foot. Now we improved your backhand. Now we improved your boxing skills. Where do you want to proceed next to? Like, what's the next goal for you? Like, what's the next milestone for you? And then this never stops. This is the beauty about coaching, because no matter how good you get, even the pro athletes still have a coach. They still want to get just a little bit better, just a little more better, right? So you want to make sure that you keep selling the next thing. So you can offer the 12-week transformation. Now, the 12-week transformation, once again, 2 tiers. Tier 1, once a week. you can go from $100 per hour to $90 per hour. And 12 sessions times $90 per hour would be $1,080. And if they say no to that, once again, offer the split pay, half now, half in 30 days. And then for the tier 2, let's say someone is really like, hey, I really like this, I want to do twice a week. For tier 2, you want to go ahead and drop it from $100 to $80 per hour, and then go ahead and charge them for the 24 pack upfront for $1,920. Now, if they say no to that, simply split pay, because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you give your clients the best possible way, but also they're committing to you anyway, so you're fine. And they've already committed to the first 6-week challenge, and they come to the first session, so they're gonna pay you no matter what. So from there, what happens for most coaches is that they have 3 options. So that was the classic upsell offer. This is where basically you have the main offer, the upsell offer, and then from here we're gonna have the continuity offer. Once the 12 weeks are up, now you've been with this person for 18 weeks already, we can offer 3 things. This is called a continuity offer. You can either go for the 4 sessions per month pack, where they come in on a subscription model. You set up a subscription where they get charged $400 every single month, or you can do a 6-week challenge, going back to this again, the tier 1, tier 2, or if they prefer to do it under a 12-week challenge. That's up to you. Really depends on how you want to run your business. I like to just go straight back into the 12 weeks because I know for a fact that if I do a good job on the 12 week, they're not going to get bored. And if you have enough variety within the training sessions, they're going to keep taking the 12-week challenge over and over and over. And that's the beauty. You want to have your clients prepay for the entire 12 weeks up front every 3 months, right? That way you have more cash coming through and you're able to make $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 really, really quickly, because every client offers this. If you offer this correctly, you'll be able to go ahead and get more payments up front. Now, there's another thing you can add on to this, which I haven't showed you. I might make a video about this, but basically, once you have this, you can offer online coaching. So with online coaching, it's a slightly different model. So they're training once per week on the court or on the field with you, court, field, whatever. And then the hybrid model would be, the 2.0 model of this would be to make sure that they get 5 more sessions online. So 5 times a week online. Now, I'm going to make another video if you guys want on how online coaching works. But with online coaching, you can basically add an extra $200, $300, $400 to your monthly income for each client, because they're not just seeing you once a week, but they're going to be able to improve their skills 5, 6, 7 times per week, because you have the online aspect dialed in there as well. Now, with online coaching, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's the easiest thing in the world, because it took me a little while to actually figure it out and do it the right way where it actually gets people results. So I can make a video on that if you guys want. But for the sake of this, I hope you guys can see the difference between the old school way of doing things and then the new school way of doing things. With the old school way of doing things, you're relying on them or hoping for them to come back in the future or hoping for them to buy a package. With the new model, you're setting yourself up to win. Like, I'm trying to stress this home because at the end of the day, it's not going to happen by accident. You have to have your Instagram page curated in a specific way. You have to run the right ads to get people to come to you, and you have to go ahead and get those deposits over the phone. Like, meaning you have to know what to say on the call to be able to get those deposits over the phone, offer the first session, and on that first session, be able to go through the closer framework to be able to go ahead and get them to clarify why they're there, label them with the problem, overview their past experiences, sell them on the transformation. Once again, not the lesson, the transformation. Explain away their concerns, and by all means, reinforce the decision by being an excellent coach. Now, once you have that, you go straight into a 6-week transformation where you get 6 weeks up front, where you're making either 540 or 960. And then from there, if they say no to those 2 options, great, you have the actual split pay options where they can pay you half now and half later. And then from there, you do the classic upsell. You just give them more of what they want, and by doing so, you're able to get more cash up front. So you have $1,080 for the tier 1, and then you have the $1,900 for the tier 2. Now, what actually happened those first few months? Well, if you think of it this way, right? Let's say, I'm going to just draw this arrow for you real quick. Let's say we do the same thing. You're spending $10 per day on ads, which means you're spending around $300 per month on the ads, which brings you around, let's say we get 5 leads per day, 150 leads per day, right? Per month. And as a result, even if you suck at sales, even if you're a terrible salesperson, you're still able to close 15 of those people into a first session, meaning like if I were to get you 150 leads in your 5-10 mile radius of people who actually want your lessons in the first place, and you were to get on the phone with them, do you think out of 150 people, you'd be able to close at least 15? Yes, right, 10% close rate, you'll be able to do that. So 15 clients, and those all show up to that first session. And with that first session, let's say you're charging $100 for that first session. Just to keep the math simple, you can do 80, you can do 70 if you're kind of just getting started. But let's say you're doing $100 per first sessions, which means you're making $1,500. And this is all first sessions. On that first session from each person, you're making $1,500. Great. Now, out of those 15 clients, what do? We go straight to the 6-week program, 6-week challenge. And that's going to be either 540 or 900, I believe, or 900, which means if all your clients take up the 6-week challenge, which if you do a good job, every single client will take it because they know that that's the next natural step for them. So 15 times 540. What's the math on that really quickly? Oh, we can actually do this over here. So that's 8,100. So for the actual packages, so 8,100 for the actual packages, and then 1,500 for the first sessions. So in the first month of you running ads, in the first 30 days of you running ads, you just made $1,500 off of first sessions plus 8,100 off of the packages minus the $300 you spent on ads, which equates to a total of, let's just do the math over here, $9,300 made off of $300 spent on ads. And this is super common because we have one of the biggest sports media agencies for sports coaches just like yourself. We're featured #1 on Instagram, and we help clients just like yourself get way more clients, grow their business using local ads. And this is what I've done for myself. This is what I have done for hundreds of people just like yourself. And the cool thing about this is that this is just month 1, right? This is month 1. What do you think happens on month 2? What do you think happens on month 3? You just keep, like, let's say these numbers all stay the same. You spend the same amount, you do the same exact thing over again, and you're spending another $300 per month on ads, which gets you 150 leads who live in your area in that 10-mile radius. You get them to come to the first session, right? Then that means you're making $1,500 off of first sessions again. Then the 6-week challenge, you're making another 540, or 900. Let's say they take the 540 pack, and that's another 15 times 540, which is another $8,100 added on. And then at the end of the second month, what happens then? All the clients who got into the first month, they have to re-sign because their 6 weeks are almost up, which means, let's say out of those old clients, you've been able to keep, so you got, this is from the first, this is from the packages, and this is old clients from month 1 clients. Month 1 clients. Let's say you were able to keep at least 7 of those people to come back. That's another 540. And what does that equal to? Let's see, do the math really quickly. 7 times 540. Is that correct? Yep. 3,780. Which means by month 2, your total income is not at the 9K, which is what most of our clients average, but your total income is 3,000 plus the 8,100 plus the 1,500. That's $13,000 minus the $300 a month you spend on ads, which is nothing because we just made 13K on month 2. And then guess what happens from there? You just keep rinsing and repeating the cycle over and over and over until you get to a point where you're making 20, 30 sessions per week. And then what do you do then? You have to hire assistant coaches underneath you or offer group coaching. Now I made a video on group coaching that you can watch. I'm gonna put it in the description below. I'm gonna have a link that says you can watch it over there as well. And then you can just scale your income from 10K a month, 13K a month, all the way to 20K a month with group coaching. Now, the really cool thing about this model is that it only works if you have every single thing dialed in. Like, this took me a little while to actually figure out how to do it perfectly. And after doing it, have been able to help other coaches just like yourself do the same thing. Now, take this video, please apply it, because if you watch this entire thing and you don't actually implement it to your business, then that means you just wasted the last 10-20 minutes watching this video. So actually use the new model. Create your Instagram page, it's free. Get your local ads up and running. If you need help, you can always reach out and I'll show you how to do that. Or at least implement the collecting deposits to increase your show up rates. Implement this closer framework to go ahead and get more people to actually commit to you. Because if you don't sell them on the dream outcome, guess what? People won't buy it, right? And then from there, actually offer the 6-week transformation, offer the 12-week transformation, because you get to collect more cash up front than the average personal trainer in your area. And by doing so, you get to become the go-to tennis coach, the go-to boxing coach, soccer coach in your local area. And by doing so in this manner, you get to keep clients long-term, get them actual results, because guess what? If you want to be a good coach, you need to get your clients to come to you long-term, because you know this better than I do. People who look for a quick fix will never get the solution done. Meaning, if you're only selling lessons just to sell lessons and you're not selling the transformation, you're actually doing a disservice to your clients. You want to get people to come to you long term, and as a result, make more money, get better client results, and actually be the go-to tennis coach or the boxing coach or the soccer coach or baseball coach in your area who actually gets people results, because they're coming to you long term. They're making a commitment to you, right? That's the beauty about this model, is that it works like a charm as long as you use it. So please use it, and I promise you'll get to where you want to go. And then afterwards, offer the continuity programs and get yourself to, get them to really commit to you long term. Now, if you want to scale your private training business to 10 to 20K a month, you can do two things. Number one, click that link in the description below to book a call with our team to see how we can help you potentially get you from point A to point B. Or two, message me on Instagram at Coach Mo Sear for any questions, and I'll be able to help you guys solve those. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it for you. And on that note, I'll see you in the next one.